You've heard it 100 times. That thunderous opening synth, the pounding drums, and then that voice, raw, gravelly, defiantly yelling, "Born in the USA!" It sounds like a fist-pumping American anthem, like something you'd hear at a 4th of July parade or blaring at a political rally. But what if we told you this wasn't a celebration, it was a cry for help? What if behind the red, white, and blue fireworks was the story of a broken man abandoned by the country he risked everything for? This song wasn't written for waving flags. It was written for those the flag forgot. If you love uncovering the true stories behind misunderstood music and peeling back the layers of hits that shaped generations, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button for more raw, emotional deep dives, right here behind the hit. Bruce Springsteen didn't set out to write a patriotic anthem. In 1981, he was worn down. The country was changing, and not in the way people expected. Factories were closing, unemployment was rising, and America's working class, the very people who'd built the nation with their hands, were being left behind. Springsteen grew up watching those people. His father, Douglas, was a factory worker, quiet, frustrated, distant. Bruce saw firsthand what it meant when a man gave everything to his country and got nothing back. So when he started writing Born in the USA, it wasn't from a place of pride, it was from pain. Springsteen once said, "The country I was writing about was in trouble. The people I cared about were in trouble." The original version of the song wasn't even meant to be loud or explosive. It was a somber, acoustic track.
Born in the USA, born in the
Sparse, haunting, closer to a funeral hymn than a stadium banger. But that changed when he brought it into the studio. The E Street Band added muscle, that now iconic drum beat. That synth riff. It sounded big, too big maybe. Because suddenly people stopped listening to the lyrics and only heard the chorus. Let's look closer. Born down in a dead man's town. The first kick I took was when I hit the ground. This is how Bruce starts the song, not with pride, not with glory, but with violence, with trauma. From the very beginning, this isn't a hero's tale, it's a tragedy. Got in a little hometown jam, so they put a rifle in my hand. Here's the pivot. A troubled youth, not sent to college, not given help, but handed a weapon. He's drafted, thrown into the Vietnam War, a war he didn't start, a war he didn't understand. Sent me off to a foreign land to go and kill the yellow man. That line stings. It's not poetic, it's brutal, deliberately so. Because Bruce wanted you to feel the cold machinery of war, to hear how young men were stripped of choice and morality. And when the narrator returns, come back home to the refinery, hiring man said, "Son, if it was up to me," he's denied a job, discarded, no medals, no support, just rejection. And then the chorus hits, "Born in the USA, born in the USA." But now it feels different, doesn't it? Not a shout of pride, a scream of betrayal. To understand why this song mattered, you have to understand the time it was born into. The Vietnam War ended in 1975, but the scars ran deep. Over 58,000 American soldiers had died. Many more came home maimed, physically and emotionally. And what did they return to? Silence, shame, jobs that were gone, benefits that never came, people who called them murderers. Vietnam veterans became ghosts in their own country. In the early 80s, Ronald Reagan became president. He talked about mourning in America, about patriotism, prosperity, the American dream. But for millions of working-class citizens, that dream was slipping further away. Bruce saw that, and he used Born in the USA to give them a voice. This wasn't a song about how great America was. It was a song asking, "Why did you forget about us?" But the song's sonic explosion, that anthemic chorus, was too big to ignore. And in 1984, just as Bruce released the Born in the USA album, the misinterpretation began. Radio stations blared it as a feel-good hit. Stadiums echoed with patriotic cheers. And then, President Ronald Reagan made a mistake Bruce would never forget. At a campaign stop, he said, "America's future rests in 1,000 dreams inside your hearts," the hopes of a young man like Bruce Springsteen.
Songs of a man so many young Americans admire, New Jersey's own Bruce Springsteen.
He invoked the boss as if Bruce was on his side, as if Born in the USA was his anthem. But Bruce had never endorsed Reagan. In fact, he stood for everything Reaganomics left behind. It was like someone reading the first page of a novel and declaring they knew the ending. Even politicians in other countries got it wrong. Tony Blair's Labor Party used it in a campaign. Corporations tried to license it. Commercials blasted the chorus without context. America took Bruce's protest and turned it into propaganda. Bruce Springsteen didn't lash out in rage, but he did respond on stage. At a concert in Pittsburgh just after Reagan's comment, he addressed the crowd. "The president mentioned my name in a speech the other day, and I've got to wonder what his favorite album of mine must have been, because I don't think it was this one."
People going hungry. There's old folks whose Social Security checks don't get them through the month.
He then played Johnny 99, a bleak song about poverty and desperation. It was his way of saying, "You're not listening."
honest man could pay. The bank was holding my mortgage there.
Years later, Bruce would reflect on the song's legacy. He admitted he was shocked how many people missed the message, but he never changed the lyrics, never dulled the edges, because Born in the USA was never meant to be comfortable. It was meant to cut. And if people felt uneasy after hearing it, good. That meant it was working. Born in the USA is a song that holds up a mirror. It asks America to look at itself, really look, and answer some hard questions. How do we treat the people who serve? What happens to the working class when the factories close? What happens when patriotism becomes blind? Bruce Springsteen wrote a protest wrapped in a firework, and because of that, people lit it up without reading the fuse. It became one of the most misunderstood songs in American history. But maybe that's the point. Maybe Springsteen knew the sound would catch people first, draw them in, and then, if they listened close enough, the truth would start to sink in. Because that chorus isn't a celebration. It's a challenge, a cry, a demand to do better, not just for those born in the USA, but for those broken by it. If this changed the way you hear Born in the USA, imagine how many other songs hide stories like this. Subscribe to Behind the Hit for more deep dives into the songs you thought you knew. And remember, the biggest hits aren't always what they seem. Sometimes they're the loudest cries for help.